What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. Ladies, gentlemen, Duggas, Digettes, that was one heck of a video, was it not? I mean, that's the Astalos in the village. Astalos is one heck of a monster, I will say. Everything about him is like, wow. Out of all the Fated 4, I hate saying that. Out of all the flagships in this game, he is probably, when it comes to fighting, my favorite. Kinda. I mean, it's a tough one. Between him and Gammoth, it's a tough one. I mean, it's really close. Anyway, he is one heck of a monster. He's a doozy. He is like a dragonfly, if you will. He's like a dragonfly kind of, thing. He's half Wyvern, half dragonfly looking. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Never mind. Let's get to why we're all here today. Let's talk about the things about this monster that, you guys would need to know. For one, his weakness. Now, his number one weakness is ice. And his secondary is water. I'm using my water lance again because I don't have an ice lance. And there are no good ice lances. Like, I could have used my Lagambi gun lance, but I haven't been upgrading it, and it's not very good. There is one ice gun lance, lance, the blue crater, but it's terrible now. It used to be very, very, very good. He used to have lots and lots and lots of ice, but now it has barely any. So it's a terrible lance for this situation. So I was like, you know what the heck? This lance right here has like 30 water. That's good. The extra defense is good as well. I mean, yo, let's run it, right? So I'm in there using this water. I do recommend though, if you guys do have some ice, run the ice. It'll make the fight go by a little bit quicker and whatnot. But let's talk about his armor. Now, his armor is actually really good. All of the armors for the flagships in this game are very good. They all have a unique ability that's new to the game. You know what I mean? Like, you can still get these abilities and put it on other armors, but these abilities were first, like, just for these guys. You know what I mean? They're unique, relatively. Astalos has negate stun on his armor, which is good. Yo, I am never ever mad at negate stun. That's negate get chain combo to death. You know what I mean? That's good. I like that. His other ability is an amazing ability. I mean, anybody who uses weapons who strike quickly, like sword and shields, dual blades, lances. I said it. Long swords, I guess you get away with as well. But anyway, weapons that strike quickly and often. It has this ability called crit chainer, I believe what it's called. Anyway, what it does is the more you hit the monster, the higher your affinity will go up. Granted, I'm sure there's a cap to it, but that's still good. I mean, you can go from no affinity to, like, I don't know, let's just say like 30 or 40. I have yet to actually confirm the cap on this, if there's a cap or not. That is my fault again. I should have been professional about this. But you guys have to understand, I never made Astalos armor and cross because at the time, like, no one wanted to like hunt with an American person, so I had a lot of trouble actually making it. I had trouble just making the deviant armors to make my super long video that I had a while ago, and I was just focusing on that. Granted, I know I could have probably just asked somebody to Google search it or something like that, but I mean, if you really need to know, you can probably Google search it. Just know that the more you hit a monster, the higher your affinity will go up, increasing your critical hit chance. Is that not good enough to know? Huh? I mean, yeah. Okay. With that being said, let's move over to his weapons. Now, his weapons are great. All the flagship monsters, all the gear from the flagship monsters are great. Get all of them if you can. Pick one, grab all of it, anything, you know? But, his thunder weapons, they have great sharpness. Like, end game, they're gonna come with natural white, which is the highest sharpness you can get in the game right now. There's no purple in this game. The attack isn't the absolute highest, but they do have affinity and very good element. So look at it like this. Affinity, good element, roughly around like 20 or so affinity. Good element, that's on my end game here, but okay, let's just talk about it in general. It has affinity, good element, good sharpness. The attack isn't the highest, but I mean, that's 3 things stacked for it, so run that. Okay, so hey, when it comes down to it, you could totally run you some Astalos Thunder and bypass Legaia, Chris, Zenogre, definitely Kezu. Kezu is only viable early on, so if you're still rocking Kezu, once you get to this guy, look into replacing. Okay, just saying. With that being said, let's actually talk about what this guy can and cannot do. First, let me just tell you a couple of his moves. I mean, he's quite sporadic. He definitely is sporadic. He's kind of crazy. But let's break it down nice and slow. Let's talk about his swiping attacks. My God, this monster has a lot of attacks. Now I'm thinking about it. Talking about it's going to take a while. But he has because he uses his hands. Like most wyverns, the tips of their wings, they have like a tiny hook. For the most part, it's relatively aesthetic, I guess you could say. But for this monster, he actually uses it in actual battle. He will swipe at you with it. He'll do slower kind of swipes. It'll be a 2-swipe attack, and then he has like a pound attack. Not necessarily, I guess call it a pound attack. Like he'll see you and then just like shove it, boom, like hard in your face. It's kind of like I'm being really bad with this right now. I know I am, but he'll slam it down really hard, and it does quite a bit of damage. So might want to watch out for like what he's doing with his hands, because it can get really ugly. He can also shoot thunder out of his tail. Yes, the very tip of his tail he can actually use to shoot thunder, like electricity, if you will. He will slam his tail down. It's very, like, you can see this come from a mile away. He'll slam his tail down, and then he'll, like, it only shoots behind him. He can't shoot in front of him or, like, change directions with it or whatever. That'd be pretty cool if he could, but he couldn't. He can't, rather. He also has his attack where he'll stay in flight for a little bit, and then he'll charge his body with electricity and just slam down on you with both of his claws. Which is a pretty hard-hitting attack. Like, a lot of this guy's attacks are really hard-hitting. Out of all the monsters, like, out of all the flagships, I want to say he's probably the most relentless. Hands down. That's even beating out Glavenus. Glavenus gives you a lot more space than what this guy would normally give you, in my personal opinion. But, he is still a wyvern. There's still a lot of behaviors about him that is very reminiscent to that of, like, the Raytheon and the Rathalos. So, I mean, like, he hits hard. He hits really hard. But if you can, like, make sure you see him at all times. Don't try to stay underneath him too much unless you can actually see what he's doing or you know what he's going to be doing. So, like, I totally recommend that, because his moveset is, like, all over the place. He can extend this electrical arc from his forehead, and then he can hit you with that, either on the ground or in the air. He can spit out electrical balls, like just like a thunderball. He can shoot out this other series of balls where it's like 3 balls. Like 2 will skirt across the ground, while the third one will kind of weight back a little bit. And I can't begin to tell you how many times I've been hit by that third ball, because I think it's going to move like the rest, but actually sits there for a minute and then proceeds to move. I always almost roll into it. So, I mean, this guy has all sorts of moves, okay? You just have to really watch out for everything he does. Like, sit back a little bit, watch him move. Watch him move. This is definitely one of those monsters that it is okay to, for like the first couple of minutes of the fight, to just like let him do what he does while you stay away, because you need to see what he can do, because there's a lot that he can do. Hits very hard as well, so you need to know what you need to really look out for. But yo, with that being said, I will totally recommend that you use either aerial or adept. Way more aerial than adept, in my personal opinion. Okay, I would totally use a great sword in fighting this guy. Lancing this guy, I have had the utmost greatest success. Okay, so if you're a lancer, this is right up your alley, because he only has like maybe 2 moves that you can't necessarily counter, even without guard. So I mean, like, as a lancer, you can just counter this guy for days. So lancing with this is totally something you should really, really do. Great sword. I've had a lot of success with the great sword with this guy as well. Dual blades. Dual blades is good too. I recommend the dual blades. Sword and shield, definitely, because you have the ability to block. I mean, sometimes, you know, you really just do need to block. Charge blade, absolutely. The quicker you destroy that thing on his forehead, you know, the more rewards you're gonna get. Insect glaive. Yes, for the mounting, yes. But that's pretty much all I can totally recommend for it. You can absolutely get away with like longsword or something like that, so that way you can cut the tail, because the tail is a really sought after piece, because he doesn't really give off his tail too easily, in my opinion. I mean, I had a lot of trouble getting the tail from this guy. I mean, truth be told, I'm not even wearing any of this the new flagship monster armor, because it takes so long to craft, and I'm trying to knock out all these videos as quick as I can. And I'm praying that these videos are finding you all very well in terms of, you know, enjoyment and tips and whatnot. But like I said though, this guy, he's really a nut. So if you absolutely can, let him play his cards first so that way you can see what he does, and then can proceed to go in and adjust your fighting style accordingly. I know it's not like the dopest information I can give you, but it's the best I got, especially if you're like relatively new to it. And also, I'm not gonna lie to you when I say I haven't really fought this guy as much as I probably should have. I think I only fought him maybe 15 times. I mean, that's enough to get a general idea, but these other monsters I've fought like for hundreds of years already. These are all old monsters to me, but this guy is actually very, very new, and there's lots about him that's really like strange. But with that being said, everyone, hopefully this video is okay for you guys. I do apologize if it's not the dopest. I mean, I will say these next couple aren't going to be the dopest because, again, I haven't, like, as much as people think that I would fight the flagship monsters, I actually didn't. Like, me playing Cross, I spent all my time fighting Deviants. Okay, so when we get to Deviants, I got a thing or two for ye. Hopefully. Regardless, with that being said, you know, desire sensors and all that may forever be in your favor. It's been your boy.